This is one of those stories, the kind that feels like it's ripped straight out of a spy movie.
Oh, absolutely.
But, and this is the unsettling part, it's actually happening, and it's happening right now in Lebanon. We're talking explosions, but not the kind you might expect.
No, not at all.
We're diving into a series of attacks where everyday technology, things we take for granted, are being turned into weapons.
Yeah, it's like someone woke up one morning and said, you know what? Let's make beepers explode.
Beepers!
Yeah?
Seriously, it sounds almost comical, but the reality on the ground is anything but funny.
Not at all. We're talking about a climate of fear, of genuine panic.
Mm.
Can you imagine living with the constant worry that your phone, your radio, could literally become a bomb?
It's a terrifying thought, and the psychological impact of that kind of uncertainty is immeasurable.
Absolutely. And it's a tactic, a form of psychological warfare that's designed to break down an enemy, to erode their sense of security, their trust in the everyday.
And that brings us to our main suspect in all of this. Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, known for their, well, let's just say their unconventional methods.
Unconventional and incredibly effective. Mossad doesn't do anything haphazardly. They're known for their patience, their meticulous planning. We're talking about an organization that plays the long game.
So we're not just talking about some guy tinkering in a basement somewhere, slapping together a makeshift bomb.
No, not at all. This is sophisticated, highly coordinated. Imagine the level of intelligence gathering involved, identifying the specific devices used by their target, maybe even infiltrating supply chains to swap out devices with compromised ones months, even years in advance.
So they've essentially planted these ticking time bombs just waiting for the right moment to detonate.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just physical tampering. There's a strong possibility that we're looking at cyber warfare here, the ability to remotely hack into these devices and trigger them.
So my old Nokia 3310 could be a weapon. That's both terrifying and strangely impressive.
It speaks to how technology, even seemingly harmless technology, can be exploited, turned against us in ways we never imagined.
It's a chilling thought, and what's happening in Lebanon right now could be just a glimpse into a very unsettling future. It's like we've stumbled into this whole other world, like something out of a spy novel, but with a really unsettling tech twist.
And that's what's so fascinating and frankly terrifying about this situation. We're seeing a shift in warfare, a move away from traditional tactics toward something far more, well, asymmetrical.
Asymmetrical warfare. Okay. Break that down for me because honestly, my military strategy knowledge is pretty much limited to Risk and a few episodes of Band of Brothers.
Okay, imagine it like this. You've got two opponents, but they're not evenly matched. One has a clear advantage in terms of technology, resources, firepower. The other, they have to get creative. They have to find ways to level the playing field.
So it's about using your enemy's strengths against them, kind of like a judo move in a fight.
Exactly. And in this case, Hezbollah's reliance on technology, something so essential to their operations, becomes their Achilles heel.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. By targeting everyday tech, Mossad is exploiting a vulnerability, a blind spot.
Precisely. And the brilliance of this strategy, if you can call it that, is that it goes beyond just physical damage. Think about the psychological impact, the paranoia, the distrust that this kind of attack breeds.
Imagine not being able to trust your own phone, your radio. It'd be like, I don't know, constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if the thing you rely on most is about to betray you.
That's exactly it. It's about creating a sense of vulnerability, of uncertainty, that eats away at an enemy from the inside out.
Weaponizing fear itself. It's a chilling thought, but is it really that far removed from what we experience in our own lives, even if it's a much smaller scale?
You know, you've got a point. We might not be dealing with exploding beepers, but that feeling of uncertainty, of not knowing who to trust or what's coming next, it's something we could all relate to, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, especially in today's world.
And just like Mossad has recognized the power of exploiting that fear, that uncertainty in their enemy, I think there's a lesson there for all of us. A lesson about recognizing those same patterns in our own lives,
Identifying when we're being manipulated by fear or letting our own insecurities hold us back.
Exactly. It's about understanding those triggers, those vulnerabilities, and learning how to navigate them.
Which is a whole lot easier said than done, right?
Oh, absolutely. But hey, if we're taking life lessons from Mossad, we might as well aim high, right?
Right. This is where things start to get really interesting, don't you think? It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, right? These strategies, these tactics being used in this, shadowy world of spies and espionage, they actually have some real-world applications for the rest of us.
Absolutely. It's like Mossad's playbook is this masterclass in, well, not just warfare, but in strategy itself.
Yeah, and one of the biggest takeaways here has got to be the importance of timing. Mossad didn't just rush into this thing, they waited for the right moment to make their move.
Exactly. They were patient, they observed, they gathered intel, and then boom, they struck.
Timing is everything, right? And that's true whether you're talking about, I don't know, launching a new product or even just having a difficult conversation sometimes, holding back, choosing your moment. It's the smarter play.
Couldn't agree more. And then there's the adaptability factor. I mean, Mossad could have just stuck with the beepers, but they didn't. They recognized the need to evolve, to escalate, and boom, walkie-talkies.
It's like you've got to be ready to adapt, to pivot when things aren't working. I'm reminded of that Matt Damon movie, The Martian, where he's like stranded on Mars and has to improvise his way out of every situation.
Perfect example. It's about recognizing when a particular approach isn't working and having the flexibility to change course, to try something new. But for me, the most fascinating takeaway from all of this is how Mossad managed to turn the tables. They took something Hezbollah relied on, those everyday tech devices, and used it against them.
Talk about judo. It's like using your opponent's weight against them. And in this case, it's not just about physical force. It's about that psychological element, that feeling of, wait, my own tools can be turned against me.
It's a brilliant, if ruthless, tactic. But it also begs the question, what does this kind of escalation mean for the future? Are we going to see more of this tech-focused asymmetrical warfare?
It's a chilling thought, and it feels like we're only just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Exactly. And it raises all sorts of questions about security, about the line between the digital world and the real world. If something as commonplace as a walkie-talkie can be weaponized, what's next?
It's like a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen. But look, as unsettling as it is, this is a conversation we need to be having, right?
Absolutely. We need to be aware of the potential for technology to be used against us, to be exploited, because the future of warfare, well, it's not just about drones and AI, it's about these everyday technologies, the things we rely on without a second thought.
Which leaves us with one final and maybe a little bit unsettling question to ponder. In a world where everything is connected, can anything truly be secure?
It's something to think about.
It certainly is. And on that note, that's a wrap on this deep dive into the shadowy world of espionage and tech warfare. Until next time, stay curious, everyone, but maybe start looking at your everyday tech a little differently.